بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. خلق الإنسان من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين والأنعام خلقها لكم فيها دفء ومنافع ومنها تأكلون ولكم فيها جمال حين تريحون وحين تسرحون وتحمل أثقالكم إلى بلد لم تكونوا بالغيه إلا بشق الأنفس إن ربكم لرؤوف رحيم والخيل والبغال والحمير لتركبوها وزينة ويخلق ما لا تعلمون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. The verse before this, verse number 3, speaks about the creation of the universe, the cosmos system. خلق السماوات والأرض بالحق تعالى عما يشركون. We spoke about this several weeks ago. 2 billion galaxies, imagine. 2 billion galaxies in this universe. Something that we cannot even imagine, let alone understand. 2 billion galaxies, a galaxy that has trillions of stars. The vastness of this universe. It has only one director, one creator, one sustainer, one director. لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. He's not overtaken by slumber nor sleep. He doesn't rest. And he can manage this entire universe. So God speaks about the creation of universe, and then after universe comes to us. We are the miniature, the small universe. We are the small universe. أتحسب, Imam Ali alayhi salam says, أتحسب أنك جرم صغير وفيك انطوى العالم الأكبر. You underestimate yourself. You think you are a small creature, but you are a miniature, a micro of the entire universe. You are a micro of the universe. This is why God, when He speaks about universe first, the creation of universe, He comes to number 4 and He speaks about the creation of us. Man. خلق الإنسان, created man, من نطفة, from a simple drop. Microscopic. Our beginning is microscopic. This drop is microscopic. When it is emissioned, every time, 3 million of us. One of them reaches the egg to fertilize the egg. 3 million. All of them are microscopic. This is our beginning. خلق الإنسان من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين. Yet, we are defiant. خصيم مبين. We are defiant. We are a manifest adversary. An open defiant. Despite knowing our beginning, we become arrogant. Most people become arrogant. Most. God says most, not all. To be accurate, God says, I know you guys. I created you. Most of you, when you make some money, when you have some status, social status, political status, when you start having some influence, when people always tell you ahsant, 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 they admire you, you become arrogant. Very few people escape arrogance. Very few. They don't fail in that test. Very few. Very small percentage. Very small percentage. The vast majority of mankind become arrogant. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَيَطْغَى. This is a psychological maxim in the Quran, a maxim, a law, mentioned in this book. Innal insan, verily, truly, man becomes arrogant. La yatgha, transgresses. Ar-ra'ahu istaghna, once he or she feels what? Self-sufficient. He feels he has enough money today, enough power, enough influence, enough followers. He looks at his Instagram account, thousands of people follow him, he thinks he's God. Nobody can talk to him. Nobody can say to him, you made a mistake. He looks at his Twitter account, he has thousands of followers, he brags about it. I have thousands of followers, look at me, how people admire me, how people love me, I'm a celebrity. Inside, he's corrupt. The problem, people do not see inside, they see outside. We always judge people from outside. The only one who judges people from inside is God. يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنِ. God knows what is inside us, how corrupt we are. People are misled. And sometimes people create this arrogance. When people always praise someone, they praise him, they make him arrogant. No one dares to come and say, listen, you made a mistake here. This is illegal, this is immoral, this is not true. Nobody dares to say this to him. We, the people, we create arrogance. We create arrogant people in our midst. So God says, I created him from a simple drop, from nothing, literally nothing, nothing. But he's خصيم فإذا هو خصيم مبين. Where do we read this always? What surah, what chapter? This verse. Especially the Khoja people, they know because they begin their programs always with Yasin, always. Khoja people are familiar with this. Surah Yasin, verse 77. وَضَرَبَ لَنَا مَثَلًا وَنَسِيَ خَلْقَهُ. He came to the Prophet. He was defying the Prophet. He said, oh Muhammad, you think your Lord can remake these bones? I'm destroying them. Look at these bones. I'm destroying them. And you claim, أَتَزْعَمْ أَنَّ رَبُّكَ يَخْلُقْ هَذِهِ الْعِظَامِ وَهِيَ رَمِيمٌ. While I am destroying them, making them into dust in my hand, your God is going to bring them back again. وَضَرَبَ لَنَا مَثَلًا وَنَسِيَ خَلْقَهُ. He forgot about his own creation. We created him from nothing, from a simple drop of semen. وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة. The same Lord who created it from nothing, he can remake it again and reshape it again. Always we have to remember our beginning. We have to take biology lessons. We have to buy a microscope at home. And look at your beginning, yourself. Remind yourself, this is my beginning. And my end is what? If they open the grave after a few months, few years, you cannot stand watching what is inside that grave. This is our beginning and this is our end. We should not forget. We should not forget these things. And always try to be humble, modest and humble. The beauty of life is to be humble. No matter what you reach, even if you are Jeff Bezos, even more than him, you have more money than him, don't forget to be humble. Treat people with love, with humility, with respect. خلق الإنسان من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين والأنعام خلقها. After the creation of mankind, God draws people's attention to animals. In many Muslim countries, not all, animals have no rights. If you speak about animals' rights, people are going to laugh at you. Not only animals have no rights, human beings have no rights. We're not speaking about cats and dogs. Humans have no rights. Many Arab and Muslim countries, humans have no rights. But God mentions animal rights in this book, in our holy book, animal rights. وَالْأَنْعَامَ خَلَقَهَا. An'am, my friends, the meaning of an'am in Arabic is cattles. And cattles, there are several types of cattles, an'am. One type, sheep, cows, camels. What else? Goats, mashallah. Goats. So these are the an'am. God says, and He mentions two types of animals. One of them, the main reason, because they are edible. They are food. We use their milk and their meat. So those are an'am. But then He speaks later on about the second type of animals. We'll come to that. وَالْأَنْعَامَ خَلَقَهَا. It is God who created an'am, the cattles. وَالْأَنْعَامَ خَلَقَهَا لَكُمْ فِيهَا دِفْء. He begins with warming, dif. You find in which there is warmth for you. لَكُمْ فِيهَا دِفْء. We use their wool and the skin to protect ourselves. In some countries, they create their homes from these skins. In many countries, they create the dress, the clothing from these. And also the furniture made of these cattle from these skins. وَالْأَنْعَامَ خَلَقَهَا لَكُمْ فِيهَا دِفْءٌ. You find warmth in them, they provide you. If you go to the most freezing areas, Alaska, to the North Pole, to other areas, Siberia, what type of a dress they have? Not this normal one that we wear. Mostly made of what? Animal skins and wool to protect themselves. Otherwise, they cannot survive. لَكُمْ فِيهَا دِفْءٌ وَمَنَافِعٌ. And other benefits that are in these animals. And وَمِنْهَا تَأْكُلُونَ. And of course, the food. God speaks about the food here. Some people, especially the young generation nowadays, especially those who indulge themselves in social media. They deal with social media mostly. They abstain from meat. They say it's not healthy. Too much meat is not healthy. But you must eat meat. Otherwise, God would not tell you that there is food in this. God is wise. God is the one who created us and He created the animals. So if that food is not good, God is not going to mention it in His book. Or He's going to say otherwise. He's going to say, don't eat. Just enjoy animals, enjoy the skin, but don't eat them. This is a proof that God created them for food also. Yes, plenty of meat is not good. As the hadith says, plenty, Imam Ali alayhi salam says, لا تجعلوا بطونكم مقابر للحيوانات. Do not make your stomachs cemeteries and graves for animals. Meaning that with every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, meat. No. Don't do that. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. But moderate consumption of meat is necessary. It's necessary and it is recommended in religion. لكم فيها دفء ومنافع ومنها تأكلون, and whereof you eat, ولكم, and then there is extra benefit in these animals. What is the extra benefit in these animals? وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا جَمَالٌ. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا جَمَالٌ. And in them, there is a beauty for you. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا جَمَالٌ حِينَ تُرِيحُونَ. When you bring them home, when they come back home. And وَحِينَ تَسْرَحُونَ. When you take them out to pasture. What type of a beauty in that? We don't pay attention to it because we live in the city. We are surrounded by vehicles, these moving animals, material animals, terrible animals which creates nothing but pollution. And now you have to pay at least $6 a gallon. And we are happy with that. And always we try to renew the lease and get a new car, a bigger one, faster one, fancier one. We don't know that, how much we are losing. But if you live in a countryside, if you have a farm, you know this is not healthy. What is healthy is the natural means of transportation. Even now, rich people, very rich people, the nobilties, if you look at the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth, when she goes into a parade from her palace to the parliament, what does she use? Horses, carriages. The oldest style. The oldest style. There is no pollution in that. And there is a beauty. And there is comfort. And there is a pride too. Horses are a source of wealth, source of a pride for many people, and source of a beauty. I don't do horse riding, unfortunately, because it's too expensive here. Even if you want to take your kids for an hour, you have to spend $400, $500 on horse riding. Something which is in other countries is very free and available. In this country, it's available only for the rich when you go on vacation. But there is much psychological health in that. When you look at them, when you ride them, you enjoy them. How many of you have ridden a horse? You imagine you are King Charles V, or James V. I don't know which one is the fifth, or the sixth. You feel you are like a king, really. When you ride a horse, at that time, you say, oh, how much I am really missing this beauty. And God refers to this in this book. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا جَمَالٌ. In these animals that we created, when you look at them, it's a source of tranquility for you. Even if you look at a goat, small goat, the beauty of that animal. Sheep, goat. Believe me, when I drive in a countryside, when I look at a cow pasturing, a sheep, a goat, a horse, I'd like to stop and just watch them. We miss these in Orange County at LA's terrible freeways. I don't know why we live in LA, really. Why we live in Orange County. We have to move to the countryside. Inshallah. When we reach 90, we have to move now, when we are still young. At least there is a fresh air, beauty, calmness, quietness. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا جَمَالٌ حِينَ تُرِيحُونَ. When they come back and they leave to pasturing, when you look at them, there is psychological comfort in that. Psychological comfort. وَتَحْمِلُ أَثْقَالَكُمْ. Another benefit of these animals, they carry your burden, they bear your goods and your burden to a land you would never reach. إِلَى بَلَدٍ لَمْ تَكُونُوا بَالِغِيهِ إِلَّا بِشِقِّ الْأَنفُسِ. You don't reach, you never reach, but with a great hardship. Even now, my friends, even now in some areas in Europe, in America, elsewhere, there are no means of transportation or moving you from one point into another save with animals, mules. Go to some parts of Europe, there are mountains. There is no means of climbing these mountains, and unless you use either donkeys or mules. Let alone in the past. In the past, how did they build the pyramids and other structures in China, in India, in the Middle East, elsewhere? They used animals for this purpose. وَتَحْمِلُ أَثْقَالَكُمْ إِلَى بَلَدٍ لَمْ تَكُونُوا بَالِغِيهِ. A camel in the desert can survive 3 months without water. 3 months. In the hot, boiling, scorching sun of the desert, middle of the desert, 3 months without water? This is amazing. This is how they used to move from one place into another. وَتَحْمِلُ أَثْقَالَكُمْ. Inshallah, one day we see camels here on the freeways. Very enjoyable to ride a camel and come on the 405. Imagine. وَتَحْمِلُ أَثْقَالَكُمْ إِلَى بَلَدٍ لَمْ تَكُونُوا بَالِغِيهِ إِلَّا بِشِقِّ الْأَنفُسِ إِنَّ رَبَّكُمْ لَرَؤُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. And the last verse tonight, verse number 8. وَالْخَيْلَ وَالْبِغَالَ وَالْحَمِيرَ لِتَرْكَبُوهَا. First he spoke about an'am, cattle, which is mostly for the purpose of food. But this one, وَالْخَيْلَ, horses, وَالْبِغَالِ, mules, and donkeys, وَالْحَمِيرَ, these are mostly for the purpose of what? Riding, transportation. لِتَرْكَبُوهَا, to ride them. لِتَرْكَبُوهَا وَزِينَةً, وَزِينَةً, that you may ride them, and as adornment, an attraction, and a beauty. وَزِينَةً وَيَخْلُقُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Truly zina. These animals are beautiful, beautiful. How many types of horses we have? Do you know? Beside the Arabian horses, which are well known. If you go to Iceland, I was in Iceland, and I saw horses that are different from typical or normal horses. Their horses are really different. They have a lot of hair. And they said that none of these horses are allowed to leave the country. And no other horse, other breed, is allowed to be brought into this country to preserve this race, this breed, to preserve it. So beautiful, majestic, majestic when they run, majestic. Zina. وَيَخْلُقُ, and by the way, the horse is very loyal. Because we don't deal with them, we know nothing about them. But they are very loyal. Especially in Islam. The Prophet has hadiths that take care. عَلِّمُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ, teach them horse riding. Teach them. Because horse riding is a source of bravery. Most of our kids, they don't have enough bravery nowadays. They don't have enough self-esteem. They don't have. Most of this generation who survives on these gadgets, electronics, they have anxiety and they don't know. They think it's cool, I have this much follower on my Instagram, on my, what is the other one? No, no, no. They don't use WhatsApp. You use WhatsApp. Old generation. Huh? TikTok. Huh? KitKat, TikTok, whatever. Yeah. These things have side effects, my friends. Believe me. They create anxiety and depression. Rather than learning swimming and horse riding and other sports and leaving their room and enjoying the nature, they sit in the room 24/7. They don't see their friends, and they waste their time on social media, which is the biggest disease during this century. So God says, وَالْخَيْلَ وَالْبِغَالَ وَالْحَمِيرَ لِتَرْكَبُوهَا, to ride them, to use them as means of transportation, وَزِينَةً, and means of zina and beauty and courage and inspiration. وَزِينَةً. This is why the Prophet says, عَلِّمُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ, train them, encourage them to learn horse riding. Encourage them. Huh? Or motorcycle, I don't know, maybe. But horse, you are dealing with a soul. You are dealing with a partner, not just an animal. The horse is a partner, is a friend, is a friend. The horse of Imam Hussein did not leave him. Didn't leave him. They tried to capture the horse. He was defending himself. So Umar ibn Sa'd said, wait, let's see what this horse wants to do. فَلَمَّا أَمِنَ الطَّلَبِ, when he felt secure enough, he came and he puts his forehead on the body of Imam Hussein. And he stains his forehead with the blood of Imam Hussein. He tries to carry him, he couldn't. He couldn't. Imam was heavily wounded, injured, and cut into pieces. This horse was very intelligent. Umar ibn Sa'd says, إِنَّهُ مِنْ خِيَارِ جِي. He's the best among the horses of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Of course, from the same breed, not the same horse. Cannot be, because 50 years between the Prophet and the day of Ashura. The same breed. Same generation. So the horse sent a message to the family. How does he send a message? He stained his forehead with the blood, and he was neighing and running towards the camp. Ladies came out. فَلَمَّا رَأَيْنَا النِّسْوَةَ, when they saw the horse neighing loud, Imam al-Baqir says, as if he was saying, الظَّلِيمَةَ الظَّلِيمَةَ, الظَّلِيمَةَ, how bad that this nation murdered the grandson of their prophet. الظَّلِيمَةَ الظَّلِيمَةَ مِنْ أُمَّةٍ قَتَلَتْ ابْنِ بِنْتِ نَبِيِّهِ. He sent a signal that my leader is on the ground, bleeding, dying. It's a good ending here. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah wa ala al-arwah allati hallat bifina'ik wa anakhat birahlik. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا رحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات. تابع اللهم بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك غافر الخطيئات إنك ماحي السيئات وجاعلها حسنات إنك على كل شيء قدير. Tomorrow inshallah Salatul Jumu'ah is at 1 p.m. and this is the last Friday in the month of Sha'ban. It's an important day, and inshallah after that it's the month of Ramadan. I ask Allah to make it a month of blessings, forgiveness, and beauty and family gatherings, community gatherings on all of you after these 2 years of pandemic. Inshallah, most of the Islamic centers are open for Ramadan services and programs. Try to go to the masjid. I know it's difficult for some people, but it is worth it. The nights of Ramadan, you spend it in the masjid, in the Islamic center, in the Imam Bargah. It's really important to join other community members, to enjoy the spirituality, ruhaniyah, during this month. You find it in the masjid, with Quranic recitation, with dua. Don't forget the du'as after every salat. Don't forget dua ul-iftitah, the nights, the sahar time. Don't forget dua ul-sahar, dua Abi Hamzat al-Thamali, and many other du'as. Alhamdulillah, our imams, the imams of Ahlul Bayt, they left us with rich legacy of supplications and du'as. Let's make use of them during this month. This month is an opportunity for us to go back to God. We need God. We need Him in our life. We need His guidance. Allahumma mnun bighinaka ala faqri. Oh God, bestow your richness on my poverty. Wa bihilmika ala jahli. And bestow your forbearance on my arrogance. وَبِقُوَّتِكَ عَلَى ضَعْفِي. And bestow your energy, your strength on my weakness. We are weak. We are physically weak, mentally weak, psychologically weak, spiritually weak. We are very weak. We need to re-energize ourselves during this season, this beautiful season of Ramadan. Inshallah, it will be a month of strength on you, health and unity on all of you, inshallah. May Allah accept your a'mal. May Allah bestow forgiveness on Hajj Muhammad. Inshallah, he's not buried yet. May Allah enlighten his grave, inshallah, with His mercy, with His forgiveness. Please join me in remembering him and other marhumeen with Surah Al-Fatiha مع الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.